This episode is brought to you by In the Crew 512, Austin's first and only streetwear brand. If you're from Austin or even if you just love the city, make sure you check out inthecrew.com. Use the code HALFTIME for 15% off your entire order. Now, enough of me talking. Enjoy the show.
In the air. Hold on to the sea. And we ain't gonna know where we gonna be.
Welcome back to another episode of Halftime Company, man. Today is, I always say it's a special day because we always have special people that sit on this couch. And this man next to me is a world-renowned artist. But beyond that, he's a world tattoo master. And the work that he does, I think, is absolutely beautiful. And I can't wait to dive into the mind of the man himself, my man, Mr. Fernando. How you doing?
Hey man, thank you for inviting me. Doing great, man. Glad to be back in Austin.
Yeah, bro, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming to just sit down on the podcast and talk about your craft a little bit. And I know you say you're in Austin, and you traveling a lot, right? So how long are you gonna be in Austin for?
I'm gonna be here for a week, but
Okay.
I'm coming regularly to Texas,
Cool.
mostly Houston and Austin.
Yeah.
I like this state.
Yeah. And you located right now in LA, right?
Yeah, I live in LA, but like I'm thinking about opening a shop here in Texas. I don't know yet where, or like it's a big country. You need to explore it, see where you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah, just might be.
Yeah, maybe. That's what's up, bro. Well, welcome to the city, man. And like we always say here at Halftime, we want to bring people into the community and build a community here. So I'm excited to get you in front of all of our people. But I want to take it back to the very beginning, man. So, what got you into just the art of tattooing in general? Like, what made you say, "Hey, this is what I want to do"?
Well, I think it's pretty much like my first memory. It's being drawing, like something that I did my whole life. My dad helped me to understand better a little bit of how to draw and do realism. So I got really into it. Pretty much all my notebooks in the school were filled with drawings, not
Not
a
work.
single word, like just drawings. And yeah, I think like it was my passion since I was a little kid, and then I grew older and chose a different career path. But like eventually you come back to the
Come back to
roots.
it.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
And what did you choose? You went into, I think you went into what, finance, right?
Yeah, I did study finance. I studied in Mexico. I got my bachelor's, and I was thinking to do a master actually, but after working 3 years as an auditor at PwC, which is a big firm,
Yeah.
like an accounting firm, I was like, no, man, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. This is not me. This is not my reality. And I felt like stuck, like even if I like studying it, and I don't regret it because it helps you a lot to understand business, you know. Um, when I was working, it was like horrible. You feel trapped, and as a creative mind, like you need to actually create, not just to do what you're being told, And when you're not creating, I felt like my brain was dying, Like even my looks, when I was working in there, I looked like I was like 22, 23, and I look older than what I look right now, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's like it's hard on your body, it's hard on your mind. It's like, and you, in a way, you say you felt like trapped. Yeah, like your soul.
Your soul is trapped. It doesn't belong there, so you need to move. Like
You weren't born to be stuck in a cubicle in a box to work all your life.
Yeah.
You were born to experience and enjoy creation around us and be creative yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's dope that you found a lane to get out of that. And like, so how did you dive into, because you taught yourself, right? Like you taught yourself how to tattoo.
Yeah.
Like, first off, I gotta give you your flowers. That's amazing because of the work that you do now. But like, where did you start?
I started in Mexico actually. After I decided this is not me, the finance thing, I was like, well, what I'm gonna do, you know, like. So for a little while, I was working in government. I, my brother-in-law was a politician, and he hooked me up. So I kind of became politician in a sense. uh, but after that was done, it was just a brief period of my life. I was like, I need to do something. What do I like to do? You know, like just trying to figure out your path, right? And I remember I was getting a tattoo, and I was like, man, I could I could do this, you know. I always loved tattoos. My first tattoo was at 14, you
Oh
know,
wow,
like
yeah,
I was a fucking kid and I
yeah,
got the name of a metal band that I used to love. And since then, I was hooked into tattoos. You know, like
yeah,
I thought that it was amazing how all these tattoo artists made something so beautiful on the skin, which is a living thing. And they don't fuck up. You know, like well, a lot of them fuck up,
yeah.
but you're not supposed to fuck
Right,
up,
right, right,
right?
right, right.
And you gotta be perfect. First try, you cannot fucking erase, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like mind blown how all these guys do like portrait or something like that, you know, like it's mind blowing. Still mind blowing, you know,
Yeah.
like and when I was getting this tattoo, I was like, man, I should do this, you know? So with my last money, I bought a fucking tattoo machine and I just started to practice on fake skin, like just a couple of tries. And I was
Yeah.
like, fuck this. This is not, I need to do it like on real. And I remember I got invited to this party, and this guy was in the party. Like everybody was smoking weed and
Just
drunk and
yeah.
shit. And he was like, "Hey man, I heard that you got a tattoo machine. You want to tattoo me?" So I started tattooing him in the middle of a party, in middle of a fucking
And
night,
that's how it started.
and that's how it started.
That's
Yeah,
dope. So you just started tattooing your friends, just
yeah,
anybody really that would just come to you and just like,
yeah. Let's do it.
and that's kind of dope how you said it. Like, this is a living thing, right? Like I'm tattooing. Like you cannot mess up,
Mm-hmm.
and your work, man, like it's so detailed and intricate. Like it almost like I feel like it transports me back to like the ancient world or something. Like how would you describe your style to somebody that's like looking at it for the first time?
So. I would say like it's called micro-realism. It's or single needle they call and but I would say like my style it just belongs to the person that I'm working with, you know,
Mm,
like because I try to understand uh, deeply what they want to tell, the story they want to represent with images, and for some people, it comes to me something more bold. With some people, it comes to me something more abstract or more flowing to the body. Or
mm,
some other people, it comes to me like more in a dainty kind of way, you know. So I wouldn't say like I'm capsuled in just one. Of course, it's geometry with realism. That's what I do, right?
okay, okay.
But I would say like even if you are in that genre or I don't know how to describe it, like style,
Mm-hmm.
um, it can be different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it definitely makes sense. And I think like, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you feel like there's like a misconception when it comes to like the style of work that you do? Like meaning like some people think that, oh well, when I get a tattoo, I gotta go get this big tattoo that covers my whole arm. Or some people just walk into a shop and they see it on the wall, hey, I want that tattoo that has no meaning behind it
Mm-hmm.
really. Do you think like with your work, when people see it, they're like, oh well, you're not doing like this big scale, but you might do 15 different things in that scale that covers
Mm-hmm.
an arm, and it looks like a sleeve, right?
Yeah.
Like, how would do you think there's any like misconceptions when it comes to your style of work in the industry?
Yeah, of course, like every new style has always the haters, right? A lot of people, when this style started, I don't know, like 6, 7 years ago, probably, where you started to see all these tiny, intricate pieces. A lot of people were like, fuck, that's gonna blow out, that's gonna
Mm,
disappear with time, that's gonna, like, and it's more the technique and how you create it that rather than the scale of it. When realism started back in the 90s, 70s, the 70s guys told, the traditional guys told, like, realism is not gonna stuck, like, because it was something new.
mm,
Same happened to what I do right now, like, I would say that's a misconception that your tattoo is gonna fade. Fading happens when it's not fully saturated,
right.
or when it's not the proper technique, you know. So it's a little bit harder to do these tiny pieces because it's a small scale,
Yeah.
You cannot fuck up, or you know. And another misconception could be like the time that you're gonna spend on a piece is reflected with the price that you should pay. Like I
Mm,
always tell people, like, for me it doesn't make sense to charge by hour because I'm extremely fast. Like I can pull entire form in 3, 4 hours. Like I'm really fast. So for me, it doesn't make sense. Whereas if you go with the expertise that you get is what gives you the speed on
right.
tattooing. So let's say my price it's 2K or 3K, whatever, for a session. Um, with me, I will pull the whole forearm and I will do it in one session. And if you go to like a intermediate tattoo artist, they will charge you 200 or even 300
Mm-hmm.
per hour, right? So you're gonna spend 8 hours and plus another session of 8 hours. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be 3,200. So you know,
Where?
and
Yep.
it's gonna be less quality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So a lot of people like tend to think like tattoos are expensive, but they are not thinking about like the work behind it. Like
Exactly. Like what you have to do as far as like not even just like the tattoo itself, but creating the concept, like working with them to understand their mind and draw and get their inspiration so that you can put something on their skin that's going to be there forever. Like you
yeah,
want them to love that.
yeah.
And it's kind of cool how you just said it, how this I guess phase of tattooing they thought it would phase out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't phase out. It actually brought you into rooms, into places, that a lot of people wish they could be in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you tattoo Polo G, you
Mm-hmm.
tattoo Anthony Davis. I saw you at Coachella, Travis
Yeah.
Scott. Like you're in places teaching people your style of
Yeah.
tattooing, and just not that long ago, people said, "Oh, it's gonna fade out." I think that's like poetic justice right there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Like how was that moment being in those rooms with these people doing that craft that you love?
Man, sometimes it's kind of surreal though. Like, um, come from a place in Mexico where it's not a small city, but like nothing happens there. Like, and all you see in Netflix or whatever is all these celebrities. Like
Um,
the um yeah, you look up to that. Like
yeah.
I remember the first time I came to LA, I was like, man, this is
Wow.
where I need to be. Like
Yeah.
this is where I belong. It's so surreal.
Yeah.
And when you're in the room with these people, you're like, wow, like, and it gives you like a moment of humbleness, because I've seen a lot of tattoo artists believing they are fucking rock stars or whatever fuck,
Yeah,
like,
man.
and when you're in a room with people like that, you're like, man, I'm nothing, like I'm just trying,
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like they are more than you are or
Right.
something like that, but it's like
The appreciation.
the appreciation of what they do. They are the fucking best. What I'm doing, I'm good at. Like I'm trying to be the best. So
Right.
that's why I'm in a room filled with these people. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. That's awesome. And I just love that you can take that step back, right? And appreciate it and be like, in a way, it's like a humble thing, man. It's like, you know what, like I'm just thankful that I'm in this room and my gift allowed space for me to be in this room.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, man. And like, so actually back to tattooing because I just thought of something. Speaking of like not only your line work, which is dope, you tend to do like this it's like I don't know if it's a fading effect, but it's like you could tell like there's different layers to the tattoo, right? I don't know if it's like you're putting in like certain grays or blacks or like, but certain things pop, and then there's other things that look like it's like right behind it. You see what I'm
Mm,
saying? So like what?
like overlapping.
Yeah, like I think that's so dope. Like how, like what technique is that, or how do you do that to like help bring that tattoo like to life? Because sometimes it feels like that tattoo is like almost floating on top of the skin. You know what I'm saying? So it's
I've
like,
heard that.
how do you do that?
Um, I don't know. It just comes though. Like, I would say like the that 3D effect that some people think that I put intentionally. It's just capturing the shades and the borders of a shape, if that makes sense. Like, let's say everything starts with shade and comes to light. It's always, like that's pretty much how our perception of three-dimensional things work.
Right.
The light and the shade. So you just need to capture perfectly like where does the shade really starts and when it comes to light. I don't know if that makes
No,
sense.
it makes sense. No, it makes sense. I mean, especially for the people that are tattoo artists, it's definitely gonna make sense to them for sure. But no, that makes sense, man. It's I just again I gotta applaud you because that the way you do it, it seems as if it's very intentional. You know what I mean? But you're saying it's like, nah, I'm just I was just
I'm
tattooing.
vibing, man.
I was
Yeah.
just vibing. That's amazing. So one question I gotta ask you, or really two questions. What advice would you give to somebody that's maybe they were in your position? They just got out of college. They're looking to do this, but they don't know. Like, what would you say to that person? What would you say maybe to the younger you? You know?
I would say, fuck it, just follow your dream. Like, might sound corny or cheesy, like, but it is true. You gotta follow your dream. You gotta follow your passion, and um, I think like all the people has a talent, even if they believe they don't have it. Like, for example, for you, you speak to people. You have a talent. You have a knack
Right.
to do it. And you're following your dream. I'm doing the same. Like I just see what I'm good at, and if you like it, of course, you're not gonna do it if
If
you
you
don't
don't,
like
yeah,
it. But see what you're good at and follow that,
yeah.
because I don't know if it's the universe or a creator or whatever. Like I feel like everything it's connected, and everything has a purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, everything does. Yeah.
So yeah, I would say like everyone has a talent or a knack for something, and if you like it, follow that.
Just go for it.
Just go for it.
I love that, man. Like, you kind of said something, so I gotta ask this question. I always ask this question to all of our guests. What's one thing? Maybe it's the same thing you just said. If you want to elaborate on it more, but what's one thing that you want to bring awareness to in the world today? Like, what's something that's important to you?
To bring awareness in the world. Man, just try to be good. Like, there's a lot of fucking hate in the world, you know? Like, there's a lot of bullshit going around, and it's a lot of ego, you know? Like, for example, if I was an egotistic, or if I believed that I was the best in my craft, I wouldn't keep improving, you know? So I think the ego is the root of all the fucking shit that happens in the world, you know? And I would say, like, with my craft, I try to one, portray something that it's the story of the person, you know, and you gotta connect with them, and you gotta stay humble to be able to connect. Because if you're thinking that you're fucking superior or whatever, fuck, like, you're never gonna connect with people, you know?
Or you might connect with people, but it's gonna be the wrong people.
Yeah, probably.
You know, you connect with other egotistical people that, at the end of the day, if it's you or them, it's always gonna be them.
Yeah.
You know, you don't got people that's like willing to
100%.
sacrifice and say, hey, you know, I got you no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, that's dope, man. Because you're right. I think, especially in this like social media world that we live in, which is pretty much fake anyway.
Yeah, man.
It's all about clout, and it's all about like, how
Your
can I get eyes on
numbers.
me? Yeah. And I think that's so weird, you know?
Man, I don't get it though. Like, honestly, if my work didn't depend on my social media, I would be out. I'd be fucking out. You know,
I would
like,
not have it.
no.
Same,
No.
bro. If I didn't have to like always just do this, like create content and put it out there, it'd be the same way. But like, I'm
I
done.
mean, you're trapped into this fucking
Right?
bubble, and into this, like you said, it's not fucking real.
It's not.
Even in your relationships, you know, like, I'm married. I'm happily married. I love my wife, but sometimes we have arguments because we see something that it's supposed to be like the perfect shit, you know, like, and it happens to everything, and it happens to all of the people in every sense, you know, like,
Ever since.
it's fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking bullshit.
You see that 22-year-old kid with the Lamborghini, you like, I'm 35 and I ain't got
And
this.
you
I'm
get
40,
depressed
and
and
then you get
shit.
depressed, and you're
And
like,
that fucking kid rented that Lamborghini. It's
Exactly.
not even fucking
he
his.
toured that for the day.
Exactly, man.
You know?
Exactly. And people believed him. That's a yeah, it's a weird world we're living in.
It's
Yeah,
weird,
for
especially
sure.
now with AI, and you don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna get tricky out there. That's what I'll say. It's definitely gonna get tricky. But before we get out of here, I did want to ask you this question, man. Where you've traveled the world, you've been in a lot of places. Where's like a few places that you would tell people, hey man, you should definitely go travel here. You should definitely go here because it's dope. Maybe you did work there, you were a guest tattoo artist, but like, where's a couple places in the world that you would love to go back and visit?
Man, I loved Italy. I
Yeah?
loved Rome. Spain, man. Spain.
I've heard Spain.
I mean, I think every place has its own, you know, like,
Yeah.
I love LA. I love Texas. I don't know, man. It's just hard.
Yeah.
But from an art perspective, yeah, Rome.
Rome.
Rome, it's insane, man. There's art everywhere. There is, like, you can go take a walk and see hundreds of statues. You know, like,
And you just get inspiration from that.
yeah, it's crazy. Such a
Man,
beautiful
I didn't even
place.
think about that actually, because like I've always wanted to go to Spain, but now I think about it, yeah, you're right. Like you can just probably walk by like certain places and see the Coliseum or see just like different things, and it's just like you're getting so much art
It's
and
fucking
history,
insane.
you know,
Yeah,
in one space. I can only imagine, like especially for a creative mind, what that does to you.
yeah,
You know, man, I'm gonna have to go now. As you said that, I'm gonna have to go.
yeah. Go
Well,
for it.
well, hey,
Spain and Italy.
Spain and
Mind
Italy.
blowing.
Y'all gonna see halftime family. Y'all gonna see JB in Spain one day. I promise you.
Yes, sir.
But no, man. I appreciate you for just taking the time to just come down and chop it up with me for a little bit. I hope family. I hope y'all got to know Fernando a little bit and your work and really. Ooh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna ask you one last question. If you had to say why you do the work that you do, the type of work that you do, why is that?
Man, that's a interesting question though. Like, I always say this. Like, I think like tattoos are one of the most sacred career paths that you can get, because if you think about it, when you die, you're just gonna take one pair of clothes and my tattoos. So that's fucking sacred, man.
That
You know,
is.
like,
That is.
and I try to understand the person, understand their story behind it. That's how I work. I ask them to send me why are you doing this? What do you want to represent? What the story behind it? Of course, some references and stuff, you know, but I try to make something beautiful, but at the same time sacred, you know, like
Yeah.
something that can really represent what my customer want to tell, you know.
Yeah, man.
So that's really meaningful.
I never heard somebody say it like that. To where when you die, you take one pair of clothes and my tattoos.
That's it.
That's that's amazing, man. I hope that y'all who are listening remember like it is a sacred thing to put something on your body. So, you know, be mindful of that and try to have real intention and true intention behind what
For
you're
sure.
doing and work with somebody like my man Fernando
Thanks, man.
who is trying to bring to life your deepest emotions and feelings up front street so people can see and be able to ask questions and dive into your life story. I think that's amazing what you do, man. So again, I just want to give you your flowers,
Thank you,
and
bro.
I love your work, and I cannot wait to get it out to the family. And
Appreciate it, bro.
with that said, remember, my man's gonna be here for 1 week. Today is Tuesday. I'm gonna do my best to get this podcast out ASAP so y'all can see it, y'all can tap in with him. But also, he's gonna be back. So reach out to him in his DMs. We're gonna make sure we put all of his or your social media, and then from there, we're gonna make it happen. So we appreciate y'all. Halftime family, we love y'all. We
Thanks,
out.
man.